Hey, it's been really long since I've uploaded a video on this channel, about 10 months. And today's video is going to be a follow-up on the one that I did the last time, which was a CodeSandbox guide on how to use this for your Webflow project. I think some weeks after the video published, CodeSandbox had a major update, which was not just the interface, but also the entire structure of paying for it, which is now credit-based. I'll explain in just a second. So yeah, this old video is basically useless. And since it's still getting a lot of views and I'm still getting comments and questions about what's wrong with people's setup, because they, I figured I'd make a new video on explaining how this will work now. So I have made a free account, a new one on CodeSandbox, since I've also got my personal pro workspace that I typically use for my projects. But since many of you will not have that from the start, I figured it would be best to show how to use this on a free basis right now and how the paying structure will work later. So if we head over to the settings once you're in the account and go to plan and billing, let's see, I think if I click upgrade to pro, yeah, so standard we have a free plan, which gives you up to 40 hours worth of virtual machine credits every month. What this means is that using a CodeSandbox Devbox, as they call it now, basically like a project, let's call it a project, will cost you credits. And the more CPUs you set up for your server, the more credits it will cost every hour. The smallest server, basically, I think it's called the Nano one, which is what I also use, costs like, I think 10 credits every hour. But yeah, you've got about 40 hours worth of credits a month. If you don't use CodeSandbox every single day, that might even be enough for you. Otherwise, you'll have to upgrade to a pro workspace. It'll give you extra hours, you see up to 100, and then you can pay per extra credits used or something like that. But you can set like a spending limit so you won't be hit with a $100 bill at the end of the month if you don't want to. Anyways, assuming you guys are on the free plan, let me head over to my recent tab, which is empty. On the top right here, I'm going to set up a Devbox. And the Devbox is going to trigger a similar pop-up as in the old video. And now we're just going to set up a JavaScript CodeSandbox. We can give this a name, and important, I'm going to have to set the visibility, I think unlisted is enough. We can choose a folder if we like, or just leave it in drafts. We're going to open it up in the CodeSandbox web editor, and here is the runtime thing that I was just talking about earlier. Since we're on the free plan, I can only choose between Nano and Micro. If you're on the paid plan, you can choose like bigger servers, basically. Sorry if you guys hear the motorcycle outside. But I always use Nano, and I think it's fine. I'm going to create the Devbox, and it's going to set this thing up. Let's see how long this will take. Otherwise, I'll do a little cut here. Okay, that was actually not too long. The interface is somewhat similar to the old one. So we still have like our files here on the left with the ability to create new files. We have the view of the selected file here in the middle. Here at the bottom is a terminal which we can close. And on the right, we have a preview of our live dev server, basically the web project that we created by setting up this Devbox. Previously, what we would do is that I typically click in this left column, and then I create new file, and I call it script.js or something else.js if we're going to work with JavaScript. Let's do a console log. I'm going to save since I had that dot there, not anymore. Previously, what I would do is that I would copy this URL, put it in my browser, add the file extension that we just created, and hit enter, and it would show my file. But now it shows the dev server. So if I link to this specific URL in some script tags in Webflow, the code will not run, since I'm linking to basically another website and not to a specific file. I honestly don't remember exactly how, but I found out that we have to add the following to the URL. So we need to do double underscore, so 1, 2. We do parcel underscore source underscore root slash, and then we can write the same file that we typically do. So basically this whole bit here is new compared to the old structure. The parcel source root. Parcel is a thing that CodeSandbox uses to create these dev servers, and we have to go into the root to find the file that we created. So now if I hit enter, we see that I see my actual code. So now this URL I can use in Webflow. So say I'm creating a very beautiful blank project and I want to include custom code. I'm going to open up some script tags, and in my source, between some quotation marks, I paste that URL. So I take the URL from CodeSandbox here. If for whatever reason you're not seeing the screen, maybe you've closed it manually, as I did now, you have to hover with your mouse here on the right side until you see that purple bar show up, and you can just drag it, and then this URL should show up for you. We paste that thing, then we do the double underscore parcel underscore source underscore root, and then slash the file that we just created. We make sure to properly close our script tags, and then that's it. So if I now save this and publish to this project, right, and then refresh on the live website, still empty, but my console logs yo, which is the code that I did. And for those of you unaware why this workflow is nice, I assume if you're checking this out, you kind of know what this is for. But if you're working with with custom code in Webflow, you might be used to like writing or pasting it in this area here, and then you have to save, and then you have to publish, and then you have to go to your website to refresh it. Which works fine if you just want to paste a snippet, but it gets really annoying if you're like actively coding and need to update stuff and need to change values, and just really annoying. So by using a service like CodeSandbox or another really amazing tool, Slater.app, which I'm not going to make a tutorial about right now, there is other people that did it, you can like do this much quicker. So now if I change the value of this console log to test, and then I save, and then on the left I refresh, I have to go into the console, we see that my value is updating. So another test, save and then refresh, results in immediate action, and we don't have to go into Webflow every single time. And I remember I got the question quite a lot on my old video, like the previous one. What if I'm done with a project? I'm not going to leave it in CodeSandbox. So if I have a whole bunch of code, I would either host it on GitHub, or if it's just, I don't know, if it would be the single line I have now, I would copy it, go into Webflow, remove these things and create some script tags in the proper way. So without the source, just opening and closing script tags, and then paste my code here. This also works. And then I would save and publish and just leave this for the live website. But like when you're actively in production, this is really slow. Also, CodeSandbox doesn't just work for JavaScript. So if we close this right panel and open up the left one, I could also create a CSS file. So I have my, say I'm using some sort of custom library to create a video player, and I need to style the video player. And I don't specifically want to create a div with the same class in Webflow and work my way through this, and I'm rambling now. Say you just want to write some custom CSS and you want to refresh constantly and see the results. Let's take that example. I could say player.css, and I create this file. And then to test, I'm going to give my body a different background color now. Background color, let's make it black. CodeSandbox has autofill, which is amazing. And now, if I want to see this CSS on my website, I can take this URL structure up until the source root thing, and I go into my head tag and I open up a link. The first thing I do is that I write the relationship that this link has with my current website. So we do rel equals, between brackets, we say style sheet. And then we create an href. So we're going to tell where the style sheet needs to come from, also between quotation marks. Then I paste that same base URL, and then I say player.css. I think it's that. And then that's it. I have my link right here in my project. And then if I save and publish, now we wait, and if I refresh, my body will turn black. So now if I want it red, I save and refresh, and then it's red. And this is really bright, so I'm going to make it black again to close the video. I don't want to hurt your eyes. But yeah, that's it basically. And again, also here, by the way, if I'm done with all the CSS, I would just copy it all and stick it in some embed, maybe on the page or in the head section of if it only needs to go on a single page, not every page. That's all sorts of possibilities that you have. I see that the video is already turning out to be 11 minutes. But yeah, if anyone has any questions, stick them in the comments. Maybe it will help other people. I'm not gonna make a clonable out of any of this. I mean, it's just a blank project with the URL. I'll put this sort of base URL structure in the description below, so you guys can copy and paste it without having to squint your eyes and type exactly what I just did. So yeah, I think that's it. I'm very happy to be back creating videos again. I'll definitely be doing more of these. I have a schedule. I've got nice things coming up. So yeah, I would advise to check out my Twitter. I'll link to that below as well. I feel like a real YouTuber now, shilling my own socials, but yeah, I'd advise to check that out and follow me there, because that's where I'll be posting most updates on what I'm doing here on YouTube. Anyways, I'm going to really close the video now. It's 12 minutes already, and I'll hopefully see you in the next one. Cheers.